Oh, a bunch of people are here already. Okay, so we have a stack of MacBooks to fix. First one on the list is going to be a A1465 with no SSD. So if we turn it on, I don't want to show the customer's label, but if we turn it on, it probably starts with a flashing question mark. And the first thing, of course, we're going to do is check with a known good SSD, because you wouldn't believe how many times repair shops will send you stuff that just has a parts problem. So if we turn it on, we get nothing. Well, we'll go audio is laggy. Yeah, that's YouTube's problem, unfortunately. So we're going to go ahead and take the bottom cover off and just do an inspection. Pure novice here. Laggy is an off sync or what? Okay, audio is good. This is probably Anthony's lousy internet. So the first things first, this is an A203435, and on this model they have a really lousy SSD that always fails. It's a Toshiba branded SSD. So first things first is to try with a known good SSD and watch this work. Toshiba SSDs are fairly lousy. Let's grab an SSD. Actually, one right on my bench. Didn't even have to get up. And as you can see, it's booting because the SSD that they sent was no good. So yeah, so this had nothing wrong with it. There needs to start being a charge for this. I'm sick of this happening. We're going to put the original SSD back in. And see if it works on this one. Because if it doesn't, then maybe we have some intermittent issue on the board, but I kind of doubt it. So now it works on their SSD. Cookies didn't even re-hot CPU. Well, let's hope that we don't get any of those today. I do not feel like working on a re-hot CPU. Alright, so yeah, this works. Since I said I wasn't detecting it, we can go ahead and inspect it just in case there's some random intermittent issue somewhere. I kind of doubt it. Who knows, but we'll check it. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to share the stream in the MacBook group because I'm guessing that notifications didn't go out as usual. Okay, so go ahead and pull this board. Maybe we'll find corrosion. That would be nice. Now watch out on these webcam connectors. Oftentimes people will just pull them out, and I've done this, and it rips all the wires out and you have to replace the screen. Don't do that. Not fun. And this board looks perfectly clean. We'll go over it under the microscope just to check, but I don't think that this one has an issue. Most likely just sent, because who knows why. Wait a second. Look at what we found. A little bit of corrosion. And I bet this is for SSD. So let's look at the board view and figure out what this is. I bet this is for SSD. This is an 820-3435. I rarely see these boards. I see plenty of the 37, but not a lot of the 35s. Alright, so that is right above the ISL. And that is for Wi-Fi. That doesn't have anything to do with our SSD. So we're going to check our SSD reset L chip, which is going to be right over here. And that looks clean. So now I'm wondering, okay, if this chip is messed up, and this is for Wi-Fi, maybe the Wi-Fi is messing with our PCI lines, since both of the SSD and the Wi-Fi communicate on PCI lines. So if this chip is screwing up something with the Wi-Fi, maybe the Wi-Fi is causing the Wi-Fi to screw up. I mean, the Wi-Fi causing the SSD to screw up. So this is obviously burned and corroded. So we're going to go ahead and replace that. See if I find anything else, since we know it had liquid damage. Everything else looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to pull this chip off of a donor board. That's U3740. That's different. Alright, I have to track down a replacement for that chip. So what I'm going to do is search and see if the part numbers are the same. Sometimes the markings on the chip will be different, but they'll be the exact same chip. And that is an SLG4 AP0141 or 041V. So that's just should be the same, or at least have the same function. So wait a second, did I get the numbers wrong? It's U3540, not U3740. I screwed up. And that's the same, but obviously we're not going to use that one because that's probably cracked. So I'm going to get a different donor board. Come on, get off the board. Gotta remember that orientation. So the dot goes in that corner. These bent nozzles really cut down on the energy coming out of the station. I mean, it takes way longer to solder or to desolder. So given the fact that that was corroded, there really isn't any more corrosion anywhere else that I can see. I'm going to go ahead and ultrasonic this, or at least put it in queue for ultrasonic. Given the fact that corrosion was there, maybe some got under the CPU or maybe in that connector, and that may cause some issues. So this is going to get an ultrasonic bath, and most likely this will be good. Run ASD and all that stuff on it, and that one's done. So grab the next one. Should I get the bent nozzle? Nah, not really. Alright, the next one is MacBook Air no post. So something is causing this MacBook Air from passing power on self-test. Most likely this will be a dead CPU. This will probably be missing platform reset L because it is a 00165 with the typical Broadwell CPU that dies all the time. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and inspect it. I'm going to pull the board out, see if there's anything obvious. If there's not, This will get ultrasonicked and sent back because there's not really much else I can do. Yeah, posting issues, especially on these boards and they have no liquid, can be anything. Interesting. That doesn't look too happy. But that's not going to cause us not to post. Clock chip looks clean. U1950 looks clean. But other than that one little spot, I don't see anything. Jade tag looks clean. LCD area looks clean. Under our CPU looks clean. Otherwise, it looks perfectly normal. So maybe it's really no backlight, and maybe the volume is turned way down or something. So what we're going to do is plug in a USB mouse and test it. Grab a DCN board. I think this one works. That one has liquid damage, but I think this works. grab a USB mouse. And it does not look like... No, there it goes. Okay. No posting stuff like this oftentimes will be resolved by a high temperature ultrasonic bath. Like 70, 75, 80, around there. And there is no light on USB mouse, as you can see. Oh wait, yeah there is. So this is posting. This is posting. This is probably just no backlight. So what we're going to do is go ahead and replace that backlight driver since it had junk by it. We'll put a little flux around the SMC. Anytime liquid gets into the SMC, that can cause a whole bunch of issues. And that's about it. This will go in the ultrasonic cleaner as well. And this will be a fixed MacBook. I'm going to get that trash vent nozzle off my quick. I don't like that nozzle at all. You missed a board going on fire last night, Nasara. It was pretty interesting. It was fixed though. The whole Thunderbolt circuit just blew up on stream. Who knows, maybe this backlight circuit will blow up and we'll have to drill through the board. A fresh box of backlight drivers because I ran out. It's not called a Thunderbolt for nothing, but of course I missed that too. You always miss the good parts. I think I posted a clip of that blowing up on the MacBook group too, so if you want to see it, I think it's on there. we're going to test this, and I bet it'll work. Screw speaker, we don't need speaker. Don't need webcam, just power. Power, screen, and I/O is all we need to test it. And it chimed. I heard it chime. But do we get a light on the screen? We don't get a light on the screen when it's chiming. So is this an image? Did I get a dud LP8550? That happens occasionally. So we're going to measure voltage on backlight output. Voltage on backlight output is 0 volts, so on one side of the fuse I get 0 volts. Alright, so we have a blown backlight fuse. Most likely what happened is that liquid that you saw originally earlier in the video caused a short. Maybe the LP8550 was short. Now here's something to know about the LP8550. There are two SM bus lines going to it that go to the RAM. So if the LP8550 was screwed up, it can cause no post. And that was most likely our issue here. So we're going to check for a short and then try and find a backlight fuse around here because I don't think I have one. Go through those things so quick and I always forget to order them. So we're going to check for a short on both sides of this fuse. Obviously we know one side is fine because one side is just PP bus G3 hot. No short. No short. Wait a second. Good there. No, meter, you're drunk. That's not short. There you go. Oh wait, look at this. Right in front of my face. That ain't too happy. And that's why our fuse blew, is this nonsense. So we're going to go ahead and replace those caps. Let's get all that junk off of there. We don't need any of it. Most times when the fuses blow on these, it's because someone plugged in the screen with the computer on, which is not wise if any of you can't figure that out. Always unplug your battery. So like on the boards that the layers melt and get holes in them, um, the fuses for PP-Bus G3 Hot never blow. And if that fuse blew, it wouldn't melt into the layers like that. Alright, let's find a board that I can steal something off of. I need to order more backlight fuses. Here's one. This is a 2011 2915 board. And this is, I think, one I just replaced, so this one will have a good fuse on it, because this one works mostly, except for the GPU. Need a better pair of tweezers. I'm going to recheck for a short, of course. It's going to be gone, but always best to double check. And lovely, it's still shorted. Alright, now this is probably going to suck because it's not a very big short. It's like, it's a partial short. Let's see. Or is my meter trolling me? Three kilo ohms to ground. Yeah, that sounds about right. But why is in diode mode? Yeah, we don't have a short. It's just the stupid, my cheap multimeter that probably doesn't work properly. I'm going to throw those caps and stuff on the floor because that's where they belong. No, the battery's not low. I just changed it, I think, yesterday or the day before. Something's changing as things cool down. I think it's just the meter. Unless we'll burn another backlight fuse right now. We'll see. Alright, I saw the screen flash, and I know backlight's working because I see backlight. We'll wait. So you can see that flashing question mark. Buy a Fluke already. No. I'm not buying a Fluke. You're crazy. And there we go. This is a working MacBook. So again, this is going to get ultrasonicked and tested. And on to the next one. Better go turn the ultrasonic on since it's not on and I want it to get heated up. I have to remember to keep changing my glove. I don't want this thing to get worse. Okay, so next MacBook in the pile. It's an A1466 with liquid damage. Two in less than an hour fixed. Did I fix one before that? I think so. Yeah, so two in less than an hour, that's pretty decent. Maybe we can make 3 in 1 hour. Finally, I have some good luck. At least with MacBooks. You can clearly see this one has signs of liquid damage. Without even taking the board out. Some junk there and there, right there, a few places. So what does this thing even do? Does it turn on? Does it not chime? Does it not post? Does it not get a green light? So we're going to plug it in. And we get green light in the charger, but no fan spin. So let's pull the board as usual. And see what we find. I think we have an easy JTAG connector job. Where is Hi Hi? I have no idea. Probably being a trader somewhere. Hi Hi is probably being a trader somewhere. Who knows where? Hi Hi called the store like 3 times last night during live stream. Alright, what's wrong with this one? Could it be just an easy JTAG connector job? Could I really have just gotten a bad JTAG connector? This would be insane. If this was just a JTAG connector, 3 boards in 1 hour, that would be excellent. That would be more than excellent. That's impossible. I don't have good luck. That's impossible. I would never get a JTAG connector. That's impossible. That's impossible. No way, it was the JTAG connector. That's amazing. 3 boards in 1 hour. That helps. Let's just go over the rest of the board to see if there's anything else we need to look at. And there isn't. This will most likely be good after ultrasonic. At least on this side. Alright, so that looks nasty. We'll address that. And what else? There were some caps over here, I thought. Yeah, right here. So we'll take care of this. That MOSFET's likely fine. It just has junk under it. MOSFETs really don't... It's... The thing with a MOSFET is you're not really going to kill it from liquid. Usually not. Usually if the controller gets liquid, then you can kill it, but usually the MOSFET will not just die from liquid being under it. Unless it's... In certain MOSFETs will, at least not that one. So I have to find a donor for 3209. Looks like here's a donor. Go ahead and replace. I don't like leaving these caps on that are corroded though, so... Did I turn the ultrasonic cleaner on? Yes, I did. It's so nice getting boards for a change that haven't been reflowed and screwed with before. Alright, what's next? I think there was, yeah, so see this little probe point? A lot of people miss stuff like this. What we're going to do is put a little, solder on that, because in the ultrasonic cleaner that'll get torn up and then something won't work. So if we just make a little bridge here, just like that, that prevents that from happening. So this is our image circuit right here. I don't trust that, so I'm going to replace all that stuff just for long term, or at least the chip and yeah, just the chip and that little cap right there. The rest looks okay. Yeah, this is nice. 3 MacBooks in about an hour? That's not bad. Can we make it 4? Can we make it 4 in an hour 20 minutes? That would be a dream. That would be impossible. Unless we cherry pick. Could always cherry pick an easy one. The thing is, when you have your own business and you don't have someone else to give the lousy boards to, the cherry picking kinda just screws yourself, because then you're gonna have to do all the hard ones after. Or on a different day when you feel better. Need to hire a Paul. I do need a Paul. I need like 3 Pauls. That would be a big help. Anthony, shut up. Even though Anthony's probably right. So everything else looks good. Ultrasonic, and then this is done. It's another MacBook fixed. Lenovo Z70 laptop board I want to send you over. Now that ends up being a nightmare every time. Every single time I want to do a PC laptop board, it ends up either sitting for 4 months or not being fixed, or I screw something up reassembling it, or I screw something up deassembling it. It's just... yeah, I had to tell myself no more. Okay, what's next? So I'm going to clean my work area off a little bit, since it's kind of bad. Yeah, well, just message me on Facebook and I'll help you with it. So, next one. We have an A1286 that is intermittently crashing. Imagine that. So, what causes an A1278 or A12, not A1270, A1286 to randomly crash? Where's my screwdriver? Alright, who can tell me what will cause a A1286 to randomly crash? Who in this chat? Anthony, you know this. Nasera, you probably know this. 2010 A1286 with a 2850 board. GPU, SMC, neither of those. Relive or relieve? Oh yeah, I screwed up on that. Oh well. Okay. So we're going to unplug the battery and take the board out. On these, what I'm going to do is just, I always like taking the battery out on these. It's easier to pull the connector. Just saves a little bit of time. What are you talking about, Anthony? Last time I went to your shop, there was something from like 2002 there. You don't get any new, or any old ones. Yeah, right. Thing was from, well, before I started doing this. So what will cause, the answer is going to be C9560. feel like something is holding the board in, but I don't think there is. I think it's just melted. Wow. Yeah, so this board was just like melted to the... Wow, that one's probably one of the worst I've seen. The heatsink literally melted itself to the keyboard backlight. Yeah, and this board is dusty, so we're going to dust it before starting. No, not soda. This is super common on these boards, on these models, where the heatsink on the CPU gets so hot that it actually melts to the keyboard backlight, which is no good. Alright, so I'm going to dust off the board. If you're wearing headphones, probably mute or something. So I'm going to use the vacuum cleaner. Where's my brush? I need my vacuum brush thing. Here it is. So C9560 is going to be right here. I'm going to take the heatsink and no, I'll leave the heatsink on for now, but I'll take the fan off. Then I'll reapply the thermal paste, of course, because this stuff is going to be junk. Alright, so C9560 is right here, of course. Many of you guys have seen this, many of you guys know this. And we're going to change that. Now, I do these a little bit different compared to how some do. What I'm going to do is I like to put the cap up here. You'll see what I mean. It's hard to explain. But the cap is going to end up sitting on its side. So this is the same failure as the 2008 9s. This capacitor just cannot deliver. It's a tantalum. Over time it gets worn out and just won't work right. So we're going to remove this old one. Remember the orientation, don't put this on the wrong way or else it'll quarter fan spin. And what we're going to do is this a unibody? This is a unibody model. So I'm going to grab a 330 microfarad capacitor off of this random board here, a big one. So how I do these is what I'm going to do is put it like that. Now here's something to notice. If you run a wire from here to here, it's going to screw up the ESR values. So what you want to do is just solder this. So you have the, it's going to be right here, so you're just going to create a bridge. We're going to do a better job on that. And then we're going to run a wire to ground, because the ground really doesn't matter. It's not like, well, of course it matters, but it's not like the positive where it's going to mess up the ESR values if we run a wire to it. So now we're just going to feed a bunch of solder in here. Just like that, so it has a nice solid connection. And then we'll grab a big wire. We grab a big wire. No, that just means don't run jumper wires to positive on huge capacitors like this. Not, like if you're, usually it's fine, but I just, what am I doing? On certain caps like this, on tantalum, sometimes it'll screw up the ESR values. But don't worry too much about it. Wish UPS would come. I have service call at 3 to go to, and then go get lunch after that, and UPS hasn't came yet. Well, they came before I opened. Chris Long, what do you mean? This is the signature TCRS circuit C9560 fix. You know what this is, Chris. Gonna try and clean up a lot of this flux while it's dry, and then I'll I'm not gonna of course not gonna ultrasonic this. There's really no need. But I don't want the alcohol to kind of spread the flux around like that, so pull the heatsink off because we have to reapply the thermal paste anyway. Order the right size ceramic caps. No, I'm not gonna order the right size ceramic caps. I'm going to steal a 330 microfarad capacitor off of an 820 3330 2915 3115, 2936, whatever, and I'm going to stack it sideways because it does the job good enough. Who cares about professional repairs? I don't do those here. Yeah, that is some dried thermal paste. Now that most of the flux is gone, I'll go ahead and clean it with alcohol. The thing about these is I don't really see these that often, so it doesn't really make sense to order them. Most of my stuff is, stuff that no one else wants to fix. So I don't get enough of them to order them. The main thing is I've run out of room for, bins for parts and stuff, so. And that's good enough. A little bit of flux left won't do anything. So now I have to clean up all this junk. Look at this dried thermal paste. Looks kind of cool under the microscope though. I see a lot of these that someone reflows the GPU on it and ruins it. Which is just sad. I mean, I'm sick of this, the reflowing nonsense. Yeah, it's the same thing here, Chris. I don't get the easy stuff usually, and I'm starting to take a stand at this where I'm trying to get better work in through advertising to different people, and so far this is working. I've gotten a lot better ones in the last couple weeks. But yeah, getting started. The worst thing that I've noticed is when you're counting on money for repairs and then someone sends a bunch and they all have reflowed CPUs and stuff, So I'm trying to change that to where, and also what I'm going to do is charge a fee for a $50 fee for previous repair attempts, period, because I'm sick of getting other people's, junk that they try and fix and they screw it up. And another thing I get is someone says, "Oh well, I have someone cheaper for the easy repairs, and I just send the hard ones to you." No, you're not. You're done. You're not going to send me only the junk. That is just backwards. Because it's stealing your time. Because it's stuff that's no fixable. They give it to the cheap guy. The cheap guy can't fix it, so then they send it to me after he messed with it and replaced 50 things, then reflowed the CPU or GPU, and then I waste my time on it, and yeah, no more. I keep getting touch bars. That's all you ever get. I'd pull my hair out. I've only seen one touch bar locally here that someone brought to me, and it had a dead CPU anyway. The thing out here is people bring me junk from 2008 and 7 and stuff, and I'm not going to touch that stuff. It's too old. They need to get new stuff. There's a limit to repairing your old stuff. When you have an iMac that's from 2007 or 2006 and you want me to fix that, no. Because pretty much if I quote you over $100, you're going to throw a fit because it's old, you know. And you can get a smartphone that has a faster processor than that thing. I mean, some stuff isn't even a Core 2 Duo. It's like a Core, the original one, single core. So we have a nice amount of thermal paste on the CPU. We'll show it to make the computer builders lose their mind. I'm going to put the heatsink back on. The funny thing about the putting too much thermal paste, it really doesn't matter, because if the heat sinks are clamped down, and it's going to push all the excess out the sides. I'd rather have more thermal paste than not enough. Mic is too much gain. Okay. Now I want to find some real old MacBook and send it with a please fix, bro. You can do that. You know, here's an idea. I should charge more for the older ones than the new ones. So, like for example, for end user for the new 2018s, I charge $495 for board repair. So the old like 2008s, I'll charge $795 and see if people still want to fix them. That's a good idea. So, because then that'll motivate me to fix it, because I'll get $795 for fixing someone's old 2008, and that'll also discourage people from bringing them to me. It's a good idea. I'm glad I thought of that. Should do that. One second, I have to take a call. Okay. Out of all the things that I won't answer my personal phone for, that was something important. So. I'm going to take this other fan off. I just want to clean the heatsink so this thing will work for end of life. Then we have to put it back together and test, and I need some water. And UPS needs to hurry up because I have to go on a service call in less than an hour. However, the thing is what's coming UPS is a little bit more important than the service call. So if that's the case, I'll have to call and cancel that or reschedule it. Working on a 3787 that can't update its BIOS. Have you tried manually reflashing the chip? So try reflashing the chip with the programmer, and then what do you mean updating the BIOS? Meaning when it tries to do OS X update, or what? Because when they do OS X updates, they oftentimes will update the BIOS during those. What I would do is pull that chip off, reflash it, and go try from there. It sounds like a bad, just a bad flash. I'm just going to give it a little inspection. You never know if there's any liquid, which I don't think there is. I think it was just dusty. It looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and assemble this thing. Fully assemble it. Yeah, so if it won't do that, try and reflash it manually, and then see what it does. Huh? Wait a second here. Is Duke back on the forum? I thought he left from that. Honestly, what I would do is just reflash it anyway. If you have whatever BIOS you have, reflash it and then try and do the update again. Because something might have went funny in the firmware itself. So yeah, just reflash it with whatever BIOS you have and retry. Maybe it'll work. Non-Apple SSD can give you trouble with BIOS updates. Yeah, listen to Pure Enough. He knows far, 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 far more than me on any of that stuff. I just look at boards and see what looks messed up and then fix them. I'm not even a technician. I'm just a look and replace what's messed up. What's going on here? The fan. Like that. Let's grab the enclosure and put this board back in. Where'd I put that enclosure? Here it is. Come on, UPS, I'm hungry. I want to get lunch. Have to go on service call, then lunch. Lunch sounds good. I'm hungry. Postal Service is here. Hi. Thank you. "45 minutes of my lunch." Well, what I'll do is the service call is going to take me an hour. So I'll leave here at, well, I don't know when we're going to leave because that's dependent on UPS, but I'll go hopefully get done before 4 on the service call. I don't know what it is, just no idea what it is, but something's wrong. And then hopefully after I'll get lunch, and then I'll come back here at after 5 and work for another several hours and go home, go to sleep. And I think I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm not sure yet because no, I'll fix more MacBooks. I'll take Sunday off. Who are we kidding? I'll probably be in Saturday and Sunday all day. So we're just reassembling this, and I'm going to be done after this, I think. Hopefully UPS will come, because I'm not leaving my store until UPS comes. You don't want to thread in very good. So whenever there's a screw that doesn't want to thread in like that, just leave it out. Don't even bother putting it in. Sometimes the threads just won't comply, and I'd rather have it out than have it work its way out and short something. So it's better just to leave those out when they're like that. Unless the customer is going to open it and see one missing screw and lose their mind. That's happened a couple times. Some people are strange. A loose screw. Now here's a good saying. If you lose your mind over one missing screw, you probably have a loose screw in your brain. Because it's not really normal. It's even worse when it's another technician and they see a missing screw in something and they completely lose it. It's like you've never left out a screw or missed a screw, huh? Yeah, right. I usually will replace them when I see them. Now, one thing that is unprofessional is leaving out screws on the bottom cover. I've seen that several times. That is not okay. You have to put the screws back in the bottom cover. So the battery. I hate these connectors. They're always a pain. Come on. Yeah, I could fix a motherboard, but when simple stuff like this always gets me. This is why I need to pay people to do disassembly and reassembly. And we're just about done here, so I'm gonna finish putting this one last screw in, turn it on, show that it works, and then I'm out of here. So, in advance, thank you guys for watching. This was a good stream, I think. Fixed 3 in 2 hours, which isn't terrible. Oh, guess it would help if I plugged the screen in, because I did not plug the screen in. Now that means I have to unplug the battery, which is no fun. And there's no room to unplug the batteries on these without taking the battery out. So don't make that mistake. So we're going to plug in the battery again. Three screws. And what timing? I think UPS is here. FedEx is here. But I don't think FedEx is here for me. Okay, now this should work. The screen is dirty. Yep, it works. Probably doesn't have an OS on it, but that's about it. So, thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day, or night, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you live. And I will see you guys later.